Greetings, fellow slayers and newcomers alike. Today we are creating the ultimate Sung Jinwoo build in Baldur's Gate 3. Sung is one of the coolest and most OP characters in recent memory, being able to completely eviscerate enemies with critical hits from daggers, throw them around with telekinesis, or summon an army of shadows from the corpses of his fallen enemies. We will grab just about every skill that Sung uses, and in my opinion this is one of my most fun builds to play, as well as being one of the best to actually use for playing solo. I have silently opened a Discord for those of you that would like to help build and be a part of the community. Let it be a place where we can come together, talk about anything, and gather parties to venture forth in whatever the game of the day might be. Link in the description. Leave a comment down below with any suggestions for future builds, and for access to the written version of Sung Jinwoo as well as my full catalog of builds, consider visiting the Patreon where these lovely folk have gathered round. Thank you all for your support. You all are absolute legends, and may the system be yours to abuse. Welcome to Purge Evil. Thank you for stopping by. Let's get into it. Character creation in level 1. Now some quick notes before a short list of important items and then the build. I know Sung is technically an assassin build, but for the most part we see him diving right into combat and obliterating his enemies. There was only a short period of time where he used the stealth ability before attaining necromancy. Because of this, and because we can only level to 12 in Baldur's Gate 3, we will be taking fighter instead of rogue or shadow monk. I understand he has good unarmed combat, so you can argue for taking monk, but that really is just his backup to his main form of attack being the dagger. With fighter, this will give us action surge, 3 feats overall, and extra attack. We will also gain invisibility and even greater invisibility later on for a bit of stealth rune flavor. Essentially, the goal is to have Sung be able to handle things on his own, as well as have the army of summons at our beck and call by the end of the build. We will be able to raise undead and use telekinesis through gear by Act 2, but otherwise, natural necromancy won't come until Act 3. Now, for important items, make sure to get the Hag's Hair for a +1 to dexterity, make sure to acquire the Necromancy of Thay for the Dance Macabre Fiends, stock up on Elixirs of Viciousness. By the end of the build, you will have the option to only need to roll a 16 for critical hits, and 15 if you drink the Elixir of Viciousness. Sung is a crit machine, and this is a nice way to get better crits without going off the deep end with stealth. This way, we basically ensure that we have everything that Sung actually has. If you want the roleplay of having his high strength, make sure to stock up on Hill Giant potions or wear the gauntlets in Act 3. Alternatively, you can dump intelligence for strength and later respec when taking wizard levels. You can also acquire the potion of everlasting vigor in Act 2, which increases strength permanently by 2. For scrolls, you can learn Conjure Minor Elemental and Greater Invisibility. You can also learn Misty Step if you want to headcanon that as his speed or dash. And as always, make sure to visit the gear section for complete flavor and min-max options. Now to begin, Sung Jinwoo is a human, and for background we take criminal for the very fitting deception and stealth. Starting as a fighter, we gain Constitution proficiency, the ability to wear heavy armor, and second wind, which is a decent self-heal as a bonus action. For fighting style, you can take dueling for early anime flavor, or 2-weapon fighting for max efficiency. The majority of the time he uses a single dagger, but he eventually dual wields, so I will leave this up to you. I have 2-weapon fighting in the footage you're seeing. Note that defense is probably the best option if playing this build solo, at least for the early game. Respec for one of the other two after gaining adamantine armor. For stats, strength at 10, dex at 17, constitution at 14, intelligence at 16, wisdom at 8, and charisma at 8. Take athletics, insight, and perception for skills. Level 2. At level 2, we gain the SS God tier ability by the name of Action Surge. This will allow you to blitz your opponent with an extra action once per short rest. Level 3. We level up once again, this time unlocking our subclass being none other than Eldritch Knight. This will grant us cantrips and spells, as well as weapon bond, which binds your weapon, meaning it returns when thrown and it cannot be knocked out of your hands. For cantrips, take Blade Ward and Friends. For spells, take Shield and only use it when absolutely necessary, then take Mage Armor, which will be replaced next level. For the expanded spell, you know we have to first take Expeditious Retreat to mimic Sung's actual dash ability. Level 4. Leveling up to 4, we gain our first feat being Ability Improvement to increase our dex by 2. Make sure to acquire the Hag's Hair around this time to cap dexterity at 20, if you haven't already. For the spell, take Protection from Evil and Good, which will be replaced like we will do with Mage Armor right now. Swap that out for Long Strider to increase your movement speed by 3 meters until long rest. Buff with this outside of combat to avoid using a spell slot. Level 5. Leveling up to 5, we gain extra attack and we replace Protection from Evil and Good with False Life. This grants 7 temporary HP and can later be upcasted if need be for 5 more HP per level. Not completely necessary, but I like it. Level 6. Now at level 6, you have the option to take your last level of Fighter or jump right into Wizard. With Fighter 6, you simply gain a feat being Ability Improvement to increase your intelligence to 18. If you don't want to take this now, you can take this at any time later on and begin taking your Wizard levels. Level 7. Moving on to level 7, we officially multi-class into Wizard. For cantrips, take Mage Hand for Sung's telekinesis, and note that in Act 2 you can find the Raknir Bracers for the actual telekinesis spell, and the ability to cast Mage Hand as a bonus action. For the other 2 cantrips, I took Light and Bone Chill, but never really used them. For spells, take Enhanced Leap, Featherfall, Protection from Evil and Good again, Magic Missile, Thunderwave Headcannon as attacking multiple enemies or just don't use it, and Ray of Sickness Headcannon as an attack from his dagger, which in the media can poison and paralyze enemies. Level 8. Leveling up, we unlock our subclass, of course, being Necromancy. For now, this grants us Grim Harvest, which heals us for HP equal to double the level of spell slot used to kill an enemy, or 3 times if you used a Necromancy spell to kill that enemy. The spells here can be ignored, but I took Charm Person and Fog Cloud. Level 9. At level 9, we take Invisibility for Stealth Rune Flavor and Magic Weapon. Level 10. Now at level 10, we have our final feat, yet again being Ability Improvement to cap our intelligence at 20. For the cantrip, I took True Strike, as it is probably the best ability in any Baldur's Gate game to date. For spells, I took Detect Thoughts and Hold Person, which can be headcanoned as Sung's speed, his enemies frozen in place because of how fast he's moving. Level 11. Here we quickly take Haste to absolutely bust the build, and take Fear for his Bloodlust ability. Don't worry about taking Animate Dead, we will unlock an Always Prepared version next level. Level 12. Now for our final level, we gain Undead Thralls, granting us the Always Prepared Animate Dead, the ability to raise an additional corpse with it, and it will allow you to raise 5 instead of 4 Dance Macabre Fiends, and the Animated Dead have bonus HP equal to our Wizard level being 6. Of course, there are various ways to buff their health as well. They also deal additional damage equal to our proficiency bonus being +4. For spells, take Counterspell, as this can be invaluable, and Hypnotic Pattern. Now to complete the build with gear. Locations of all gear can easily be found on the Baldur's Gate 3 wiki or my Patreon. For Act 1 heads, we have the Haste Helm, the Diadem of Arcane Synergy, and the Grimskull Helm. Chest piece, we have the Spider Silk Armor, not really necessary, and then we have the Adamantine Splint Armor. For gloves, we have Fleet Fingers and Gloves of the Growling Underdog. For boots, we got Boots of Speed. Amulets, we have Broodmother's Revenge and Periaptive Wound Closure. Rings, we have Strange Conduit Ring, Crusher's Ring, and Caustic Band. For melee weapons, we have Ritual Dagger and Knife of the Undermountain King. For ranged weapons, we have Hunting Shortbow and Bow of the Banshee. For Act 2 heads, we have Circle of Bones. Cloaks, we have the Cloak of Protection. Chest piece, we have Dwarven Splint Mail and Reaper's Embrace. Gloves, we have Gauntlets of Surging Accuracy, Gloves of the Duelist, and the Haraknir Bracers, which give you telekinesis and the Mage Hand as a bonus action. Doesn't give you Mage Hand, it lets you cast it as a bonus action. For amulets, we have the Surgeon's Amulet. Rings, we have the Shifting Corpus Ring. Ring of Shadows, Ring of Free Action, and Killer Sweetheart. No melee weapons, and for ranged weapons we have the Darkfire Shortbow. And for Act 3 heads we have the Helm of Baldur and Saravok's Horned Helmet. Cloaks we have the Cloak of Displacement. Chest we have the Armor of Persistence. Gloves we have the Martial Exertion Gloves and the Gauntlets of Hill Giant Strength, which are optional. Boots we have the Boots of Persistence. Amulets we have the Amulet of Greater Health. Rings we have Ring of Regeneration and Crypt Lord Ring. Melee weapon we have Bloodthirst, and ranged weapon we have the Dead Shot. And for endgame outfit, the gear you see me wearing in the video, first we have the Circle of Bones. Really, I could have wore something different than this. Cloak of Displacement, Armor of Persistence, Raknir Bracers, Boots of Speed. Probably could have wore the Boots of Persistence. Broodmother's Revenge, Strange Conduit Ring, Ring of Regeneration, Bloodthirst, and Knife of the Undermountain King, of course, and the Dead Shot. If you made it to this point in the video, you are now obligated to like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you thought this build was trash, you are now obligated to dislike the video and come up with something better in the comments. Both of you are now obligated to ring the bell so as to not miss out on future content. Come help build our community on Discord, linked below, and if you'd like to further support the cause and become a fellow slayer of Purge Evil, the Patreon is linked down below, where you can support for as little as $1 a month and gain access to exclusive content, including all of my builds in written format, plus way more that will never become videos. This includes other games as well, fresh provisions in the pantry, and a new shiny sword for any slayer to be. I got a lot more to share with you all in due time, and if you're still here, I just want to say thank you for stopping by, and until next time, Purge Evil.
Oh, yeah, crown in my palm, but I ain't put it on. Yeah, crown in my palm, but I ain't put it on. Yeah, crown in my palm, but I ain't put it on. Yeah, crown in my palm, but I ain't put it on. Yeah.